I swear this man lied more than a baby daddy on child support. Frumpy says he's completed a total ceasefire between Israel and Iran, approximately 6 hours. He congratulates everybody and their mama. But I want you to look at this. He says officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire. And upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be done, on the assumption that everything works out as it should. My grandma always said, when you assume, you make an ass out of yourself and everybody else is part of the situation. And that he did. Iran said, we ain't heard shit like that. Not have received any ceasefire proposal and sees no reason for one. A senior Iranian official told CNN. No ears to listen to lies of the enemy. This man keeps on putting his foot in his mouth, putting the horse before the carriage, okay? Iran ain't said shit like that. And honestly, I ain't heard nothing from Israel either. People are saying online that Israel has told Tehran to evacuate. So what's next now? I really do not know, but I'll keep following.
It's stupid to try and convince them that he's lying about the ceasefire, and I'm keen to know, what do you guys have to say about this? Let's hear what is being said on the ground.
How does it feel? It feels like it always does when he lies. Every goddamn time, and you all eat it up. You're like, 2 weeks, he's not starting it for 2 weeks. He's going to think about it. We already were striking before that, before he even said it was only going to be 2 weeks, and now this. First of all, how many times has he or Israel or Putin been like, oh yeah, we've reached a ceasefire? Has it ever been true? No, it's never been true, yet you all believe him? Why? When we have, let's see, Trump claiming a total and complete ceasefire has been reached between Iran and Israel. Hostilities are over. Interesting, because missile exchanges continued after the time he said the ceasefire was agreed to. Iranian and Israeli casualties have been reported in strikes that happened hours after the supposed ceasefire was agreed to. And there has been no full confirmation from Iranian or Israeli state media, foreign ministers, or the IDF backing his announcement. We have Iran state media that's claiming troops launched their final wave before the deadline, but that missiles landed after it, according to Israeli sources. And then we have international reports that confirm ongoing strikes, describing the ceasefire as staggered and fragile. And analysts now call Trump's statement more of a public relations move than a binding peace agreement. We have casualties reports of at least 4 Israelis killed, 9 Iranians killed by an early morning strike in Gilan. So let me ask you, how does it feel? How does it feel to be constantly lied to by your president? How does it feel to be conned into it by believing that he's going to be anti-war? How did you believe he was anti-war? And why don't you care? Why don't you care that all of our troops are over there under attack? Why don't you care that he literally mocked Iran after they attacked one of the military bases, being like, oh, thanks for telling us ahead of time. What a weak stance, like taunting them to try harder next time with our troops' lives. Why don't you care about anything you ever said you cared about? And has a ceasefire that he said has happened ever actually happened? No. So how does it feel to constantly believe a fucking liar?
Well, it looks like Donald Trump lied again. He said that there's a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Oh, just one problem with that. Oh, wait, maybe 2. Israel has not said that there is a ceasefire. They never agreed to one, and they never signed on the dotted line for one. Iran is contradicting Trump, and they're also saying that there is no ceasefire in place. Yet we have the President of the United States who's claiming that there's some sort of ceasefire, and he made this peace deal. Iran is saying, no, fuck you, you're a liar. Even Israel, our allies, are saying that there is no official ceasefire. Why is Donald Trump doing this? Well, it's pretty simple. Donald Trump is doing this because he wants to be made to look like the hero, when really it is the opposite in this situation. We should have never got involved in this war in the first place. And now Donald Trump is trying to save face and saying, look what I did. I made peace. No, you didn't. You did the opposite. And even our allies are calling you a liar.
MAGA, how you feeling right now knowing that Donald Trump sat there and lied about a ceasefire about Israel and Iran? Iran has no knowledge of a ceasefire. Israel fails to comment, and they're over here attacking each other with fatalities. At this point, You guys were making videos talking about peace in the Middle East. Give Donald Trump a Nobel Peace Prize. For what? Because he carried out a mission without congressional approval, by the way, and sent bombers on an adventure to attack 3 nuclear facilities in Iran, which Iranian officials said they already moved the product out of those locations because they knew they were coming. And their retaliation towards the U.S., well, they notified the U.S. about they're going to strike these bases. That's why they weren't U.S. fatalities. Make sense of this. Now he's mad at AOC for starting the impeachment process. Oh, freaking well, calling her the dumbest in Congress. Man, if you put Donald Trump, dumbass, and AOC in a room to debate, I swear you're going to see how little Donald Trump really is. That's how much faith I have in AOC. I know Donald Trump's embarrassed right now because in what merit did he thought it was a good idea to go on social media and announce a ceasefire with the countries not even in agreement? They're like, whatever, that man's a liar. They're calling Donald Trump a liar so many times, and you guys continue to support them and make videos talking about, oh, peace in the Middle East, Nobel Peace Prize, for doing absolutely nothing. This dude's playing a game with y'all morons, and y'all eating it up for breakfast at this point. While this dude's carrying mass deportations and trying to deport U.S. citizens to other countries and stuff like that. Like, we have our own war in America right now, and this guy's over here playing. Like, who on his team thought it was a good idea for him to get on social media? Someone needs to take it away from him at this point, because an embarrassment. He's showing he's a weak leader. Now he's on live TV talking about that they fought strong and hard for so long, and they now don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, he's out here cussing. No, Donald Trump, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. He is displaying weak leadership in the behalf of the United States of America, and he should be impeached. I don't care what any of y'all got to say at this point. He's moving very wrong, and I don't gotta sit here and tell you what's right and wrong. Y'all gotta stick so far up y'all asses that y'all don't even want to acknowledge when this man committing a fucking crime. With that being said, guys, make sure you like this video, comment, be respectful, and as always, follow me.
Get him, Puffy Lion Dog.
Guys, Trump is so predictable. I told my friend last night that we were going to wake up to Trump saying that Iran broke the ceasefire instead of admitting that he jumped the gun. Like there was no deal. Iran said that if Israel stops first, that they would stop, and Israel never stopped. So this is what happened. Like Iran didn't break anything. That is you trying to save face because you couldn't admit that you're wrong. God, his ego is going to just cost so many lives.
Oh, hey guys, rapist, racist, criminal supporters out there. How's that ceasefire working for you? You're jumping down everybody's throat. What a peaceful president. He's our daddy, Trump. And blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Right. You can't listen to anything he says. When are people going to figure that out? If he tells you something, just assume it isn't true. Like, he literally gets fact-checked so much. How could you even pretend that he tells the truth? The denial is strong with you people. It's like crazy.
Big Pop 757. All right, so we hear our president going on social media, Truth Social, X, or whatever you want to call it, talking about this ceasefire. You know, and I know the supporters, y'all don't want to talk about that shit. Of course you don't want to talk about that shit because Trump ain't doing nothing but telling a bunch of fucking lies. Some ceasefire. Did you hear Israel come out and say it's a ceasefire in effect? Did you hear Iran come out and say a ceasefire in effect? Didn't you hear Trump get up there and say they tore up Iran, where they'll never have a chance for a nuclear program again? What the latest you done seen? The nuclear program is getting ready to start again. You know, Trump is just telling a bunch of fucking lies and y'all sitting there listening to it. You don't have to respond to me. I don't give a shit because guess what? It is the truth. You don't have to look at it. The name of his fucking platform is Truth Social. Truth. Whose truth? Trump's truth. Not the truth. So, he brought us into a fucking war. You all talked about what Joe Biden did and what goddamn Obama did. Obama, they ain't brought us into a motherfucking war. They were trying to get us out of some shit. Yeah. Iraq and Afghanistan. What did Trump did? brought us into some bullshit fucking with Israel. You know, this is the bullshit that we're gonna have to contend with, and this ain't gonna change. Iran is not the type of fucking country that gives up. All my fucking life, the Middle East, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and so on and so on. They've been feuding, beefing, warring, tearing up shit. Israel right in there, Gaza right in there. You know, tearing up shit and doing what? Rebuilding shit. And the United States aiding them. This is a bunch of bullshit. Trump is on social media telling fucking lies, running the country from his mouth. Not the way that the country's supposed to be run. With the Congress and the Senate involved. No, it is Trump and his goon of advisors. No, y'all ain't got to say shit because this is shit in your face, pie in your face, and he's going against every fucking thing that you voted for him to do. Now, if you take fucking credit or you take some great advantage or great goodness in us bombing other people's countries and shit, you know, that's on you. That's on you because humanity is humanity. People are dying at the hands of Trump. The bottom line is that's what's happening. And the country is not being run the way the country is supposed to be run. He's not governing any motherfucking thing. Nothing. Elon Musk is gone. Now what is Trump them doing? Oh, now they got to hire a bunch of fucking people because they don't let the wrong people go. See, this is a bunch of bullshit. You supporters, you need to step up and now start talking about this shit. Or is this the shit you want? This the shit you want. You can talk shit to me on social media all you want to. Like I said, I ain't going to see the shit because I don't give a fuck. It's folded and I'm not unfolding it. So if you throw some derogatory shit at me, don't even worry about it. I ain't seen it. But one thing about it, you ain't got to listen to me. You ain't got to listen to the news outlet. You ain't got to listen to shit. All you got to do is pay attention. Peace.
Oh no, I don't think it was anything nearly as nuanced as this. Although I wouldn't put it past Nosferatu to do something sinister. Now, this comment was on my video that I made this morning about how Trump ranted on Truth Social last night and lied and pulled an idea out of his butthole that there was magically a ceasefire, fewer than 12 hours after there were retaliatory strikes on our own military bases. And while the media is obviously confused because they don't even know what's going on here, people have even pointed out that places like NPR have even said in vague statements that Iran and Israel supposedly agreed to this. But Iran and Israel, both in their media, have said no, they did not agree to this. And less than 2 hours after he made that stupid post on Turd Social, Israel was already launching more rockets at Iran. And he was so pissed off that he went in front of the media this morning and dropped an F-bomb on camera saying that both countries don't know what the fuck they're doing. When we all know what he actually meant to say was, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Personally, I think the whole reason he wrote that in the first place was to make a decree, like he did at his rallies where he said, we're going to have prices so low, you're all going to be millionaires, I'll give you everything you've ever wanted. He just says shit. And he just said this thinking it would stick, like if he puts this out there, that Israel and Iran would magically just agree to whatever he posted. Now I have no doubt that he may have gotten on the phone and been like, hey baby, I'm just going to need you to stop bombing. Okay, bye, love you. And then he just thought everything would be fine. And now, because both countries were like, fuck that, this is not an official ceasefire, and they kept attacking each other, now he just once again looks like a lying ass. And his ego can't handle that. I believe he literally thought that he could just post that, and those countries would magically agree to it. Because both of them are saying, no, this was not official. And even after he came out on the White House lawn and was screaming at both of those countries, he even went on Turd Social again to threaten Israel, which we all know the people in Congress aren't going to like. So once again, he has no clue what he's doing. Remember when he said he would end the Ukraine war in 24 hours? Here he thinks he magically created a ceasefire in less than 12 and he already looks like a dumbass. And his followers were posting all over last night being like, yay, Trump is such a hero, he made a ceasefire. Because if he says it on his platform, it must be true. Because that's where you conduct governmental business, is on social media. But I'm sure we're all totally shocked that he was just lying his ass off as usual. Iran and Israel are still launching rockets at each other. Just because he declared a ceasefire on social media doesn't mean one exists. He just basically did this. But then again, we can't ever leave it up to the MAGA to understand nuance or even a credible source.
Good morning from Texas. Yeah. So, remember how Trump ran on this whole anti-war messaging? And he's getting us into another war. And also how his rallies were filled with mass deportation signs. Remember? And Project 2025. Remember how we were all screaming about that? It was like the #1 trending thing on all the search engines. Oh, also, diplomacy by tweet. I'll never get that. Obviously, it's not working. So here's the thing. We need to amplify his lies because no one's coming to save us. We are the cavalry. And we need to invite people in. Not everyone in his base are on social media. Not everyone on the left is on social media. My neighbors, my parents, they're not. So just like the left only gets the information they get, that's the same for the right. We weren't that great combating this dude's lies. We need to get better at that. And by we, I mean we the people. And we're doing a great job so far. Writing, emailing, texting, organizing, protesting. But it's time to amplify the dude squatting in the Oval Office. Let's amplify his lies. Let's do that. Let's get the word out. Have a great day.
Donald Trump has officially betrayed MAGA. Instead of upholding his promise of staying out of these forever wars, he just announced that the United States has bombed Iran.
Yeah, wearing a MAGA hat at, Disney World is all fun and games until you get into World War III.
So I'm sure everyone else was as confused as I was last night when, as I was going to bed, I found out that Donald Trump had posted on Turd Social this long ranting paragraph about how there's now a sudden ceasefire and everything's great and everything's wonderful and Iran and Israel are completely at a ceasefire and everything's going to be great forever. When literally earlier that day, Iran had attacked our military bases and they closed the Strait of Hormuz. I have never in history heard of there being retaliatory measures against two countries, and then a ceasefire fewer than 12 hours later. So I went to bed thinking, yeah, this is fishy as fuck. And of course I woke up to discover the whole thing was bullshit. He made it all up. Not even a couple hours after he wrote that, Israel was launching more rockets at Iran. Iran said they never received any peace proposal, and they've rejected everything Trump has said up to this point. The news in Iran and Israel are both saying this, as well as other places like The Guardian. He basically panicked and in the middle of the night lied and made up this completely fabricated ceasefire that he pulled out of his ass that he said was going to last forever. And now he's getting dragged for it all over the internet and global media because he's continuing to once again embarrass our country because he's got fucking dementia and he shouldn't even be running a lemonade stand.
Donald Trump swore up and down the campaign trail that he was the peace president, that he'd keep us out of forever wars, that he, unlike Biden or Obama or Harris, would usher in a new era of American restraint and global calm. This man said,
the president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. Speaking of World War III, I'll keep you out of World War III. What would happen if we had a war? We won't, with me, but you will have World War III, I believe, without me, but we won't have. I will be sure that World War III will not happen. I'm the only one can say it won't happen. But I stand here today, and I'm the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent, and very easily, World War III, very easily.
But here we are. President Donald Trump authorized a full-scale military strike on Iran's nuclear infrastructure. No congressional vote, no international coalition, no public warning, just bombs dropped in the dark and a trail of lies in their wake. And here's the thing. This wasn't just a betrayal. It was a calculated con of the American people. Donald Trump sold American voters peace, but delivered provocation. He ran on ending forever wars, and instead he reignited the fuse. Trump's entire campaign was built on the lie that he alone could prevent conflict. But when the moment came, as soon as the moment came, he reached for the same old GOP playbook used by Bush and Bush before him. Bomb first, spin later. No strategy, no exit plan, no diplomacy, just ego and explosives. So let this be a wake-up call. Donald Trump is not the anti-war president. He's not the peacekeeper. The man isn't even consistent. He's a man addicted to spectacle, allergic to accountability, and now, once again, a wartime president by choice. And if you think that this will be the end of it, then you clearly haven't been paying attention.